In the summer of 1985, in a small house with a tin roof, a baby boy is born. His family lives on Madeira, a small Portuguese island far out in the Atlantic Ocean. They're poor. Not a little poor. Very poor. His mother is named Maria Dolores. She works as a cook. She works as a cleaner. His father is named José Diniz. He works as a gardener for the city. He also washes the shirts for a small local football club. He carries the equipment. He cleans the boots. That is his second job. The family needs every coin. The 4 children share one small room. The parents sleep in the other. There are no Christmas presents. There are no holidays. There is only work. And food on the table when possible. And hope. The boy is named Cristiano. From the moment he can walk, he plays football. But there is no money for boots, so he plays barefoot on the hot streets of Funchal. He plays for hours. He plays until the sun goes down. He plays until his mother shouts for him to come home. Sometimes he has a real ball. Sometimes he uses a rag tied together. Sometimes a plastic bottle. Can you imagine? A small boy, barefoot, chasing a plastic bottle down a stone street. That is the beginning of the greatest goal scorer in the history of football. But there is something strange about this boy. He cries. He cries a lot. When his team loses, he cries. When the other boys do not pass the ball to him, he cries. He cannot help it. He just wants to win. Too much. His teammates do not understand. His neighbors do not understand. They give him a name. They call him the crybaby. He hears them. He sees them laugh. But he cannot stop the tears. But here is the truth. Cristiano was not crying because he was weak. He was crying because he cared. He wanted to win more than anyone else on that street. The other boys were playing for fun. He was playing like his life depended on it. Because in some way, it did. When he was 12 years old, a big club came to find him. The club was called Sporting CP. They came from the capital, Lisbon. They wanted this small boy with the wild feet. They paid £1,500 for him. Not very much. But they wanted him to leave his island. They wanted him to leave his mother. They wanted him to leave his father, his brother, his sisters. They wanted him to fly across the sea and live in a dormitory with strangers. 12 years old, a small boy, alone in a big city he had never seen. He cried almost every day. He had a strong Madeiran accent. The other boys at the academy laughed at the way he spoke. They told him he sounded stupid. He had no family in Lisbon. He had no friends. But he had football, and on the field, nobody could laugh at him. On the field, he was special. Then, when he was 15, something happened that almost ended the story before it began. Cristiano was running, just running, the way he always ran, faster than anyone. And then he felt it. His heart. Not just beating, pounding, like a small animal trying to escape his chest. He stopped. He waited. The feeling did not stop. Later he was lying in his bed. The room was quiet. He was not moving. And still his heart was racing, like he had just sprinted up a hill. But he was doing nothing. Can you imagine? You are 15 years old. You are alone in a strange city. Your one dream is football, and your own heart is doing something it should not be doing. The doctors at Sporting tested him. They gave him a name for what was wrong. Tachycardia, a heart that beats too fast, even at rest. For a young athlete who pushes his body every day, a heart like this could kill him on the pitch. His mother received the news in Madeira. She sat down. She could not breathe. Her boy, Her youngest child, her dream. She thought it was over. But the doctors said there was a way, a special surgery. They would push a small tube through his body. They would find the exact place inside his heart that was sending the wrong signal. And they would burn that small part away with a laser. It sounds frightening. It was frightening. But Cristiano was not afraid. He was 15, and he had a dream that was bigger than his fear. His mother was the one who cried. She did not eat. She did not sleep. The operation happened in the morning. By the afternoon, he was out of the hospital. A few days later, he was back on the training pitch, running, kicking, smiling. That is not a normal recovery. Most teenagers after heart surgery take weeks, sometimes months. Cristiano took days. And here is the strange part. His mother said something years later that is hard to forget. She said the surgery did not just save his career, it made him faster. After they fixed his heart, he could run even faster than before. The boy with the new heart went back to work. By 16, he was growing tall. He was growing strong. Sporting CP did something they had never done before. They moved him through every age group in a single year. Under 16, under 17, under 18, the B team, the first team, all in one season. Nobody had ever done that. In October 2002, he made his debut in the Portuguese top league. He was 17 years old. He scored 2 goals in his first match. The big clubs of Europe started to watch. In the summer of 2003, Sporting CP opened a brand new stadium in Lisbon. They wanted to celebrate, so they invited a famous English club to play a friendly match. The English club was Manchester United. The match was on the 6th of August, 2003, a warm summer night in Lisbon. The stadium was new and beautiful. The crowd was excited. In the away dressing room, the manager of Manchester United gave his team talk. His name was Sir Alex Ferguson. At the end of the talk, he said something casual. He said, "By the way, lads, they have a young winger. Look out for him. He is quite good." That was all. Just a few words. The match started. The young Portuguese winger got the ball. He ran at the Manchester United defender, John O'Shea. He did a step over, then another, then another. O'Shea did not know which way to turn. The crowd started to cheer, then to laugh, then to chant his name. By halftime, O'Shea was so tired he had to sit down on the grass. He was breathing hard. He had been tortured for 45 minutes by an 18-year-old boy. Sporting won the match 3-1. The young winger was the best player on the pitch by a long way. In the dressing room after the game, the Manchester United players did something unusual. They went to their manager. They said, "Boss, you have to sign that boy. Not next year. Now. Today." 5 days later, Manchester United paid Sporting £12 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. He was 18 years old. Ferguson did one more thing that surprised everyone. He gave Cristiano the famous number 7 shirt. At Manchester United, the number 7 had been worn by legends: George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham. Cristiano did not want it. He thought it was too much pressure. But Ferguson insisted. He believed in this boy. That night in Lisbon changed football forever. The first years in England were not easy. He was 18. He was alone in a foreign country. He could not speak English well. He was thin. The Premier League was a hard physical league. Defenders kicked him. They tried to break him. He sometimes fell over too easily. English fans accused him of being a cheat. But he worked. He worked harder than anyone else. He came to training first. He left training last. After every session, he stayed on the pitch and practiced. Free kicks, headers, step-overs. He practiced the same movements 10,000 times, 20,000 times. He went to the gym. He lifted weights. He grew bigger. He grew stronger. The thin boy from Madeira, became a powerful man. But then, in 2005, life took something from him. His father died, José Diniz, the gardener who washed shirts for a small football club in Funchal. He died from liver failure caused by years of drinking. Cristiano was 20 years old. His father had never seen him win the biggest trophies. He had never seen him lift the Champions League. He had never seen the small, barefoot boy become the best in the world. Years later, Ronaldo would say it himself, to be the number one. And he didn't see anything. Cristiano cried again, a different kind of tears this time. Not the tears of losing a game, the tears of losing a father. Sir Alex Ferguson became like a second father. Ferguson protected him. Ferguson pushed him. Ferguson taught him not just how to play football, but how to live as a champion. By 2007, Cristiano was no longer just a tricky winger. He was a goal machine. In the next season, he scored 42 goals. Manchester United won the Premier League. They won the Champions League, the biggest club competition in Europe. He scored a header in the final in Moscow. That year, he won his first Ballon d'Or, the award given to the best player in the world. He was 23 years old. The poor boy from the Madeira was the best footballer on the planet. But he wanted more. In the summer of 2009, Real Madrid paid Manchester United £80 million for him. It was a world record. When he was presented at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, 80,000 fans came to see him. He had not even played a game yet. 80,000 people, just to see him stand on a stage and hold up a white shirt. The 9 years at Real Madrid became the greatest of his career. He scored 450 goals in 438 matches. That is more than 1 goal per game. For 9 years. Against the best defenders in Europe. He won 4 more Champions League titles. He won the Ballon d'Or 4 more times. 5 awards in total, equal to his great rival, Lionel Messi. The two of them dominated football for more than a decade. Messi was the artist. Cristiano was the warrior. But there was one thing he still did not have. He had never won a major trophy for his country. That was about to change, but not in the way anyone expected. In the summer of 2016, the European Championship was held in France. Portugal had a good team, but not a great team. France had a great team, and they were playing at home. Most people expected France to win. Portugal struggled through the tournament. They did not win any group game in 90 minutes. They scraped through. They were lucky. But then, slowly, they started to grow. They beat Croatia. They beat Poland on penalties. In the semi-final, Cristiano scored against Wales. Portugal was in the final. The final was on the 10th of July, 2016. The Stade de France in Paris. Portugal against France. The captain against the host nation. It was supposed to be the biggest night of his life. In the 8th minute, a French player made a tackle. Their knees collided. Cristiano went down. The pain was immediate. The doctor came on. They put a bandage around his knee. He tried to play on. He took a few steps. He ran a few meters. He tried to ignore the pain. But in the 25th minute, he went down again, and this time, he could not get up. The team doctors signaled for the stretcher. My friend, this is one of the saddest images in modern football. The captain of Portugal, leaving the final of the European Championship. He could not stop crying. He put his hands over his face. He hid from the cameras. As he lay on the stretcher, a small moth landed on his face, right on his cheek, where the tears were running. The cameras showed it to millions of people around the world. 12 years earlier, at 19, he had also cried at a European final. That time, Portugal lost at home to Greece. Those tears were tears of pain. Now, 12 years later, on the biggest night of his life, he was crying again. His team was on the field, in the biggest match of their lives, without their captain. What happened next is the strange and beautiful part of the story. Cristiano went to the dressing room. They examined his knee. He could not play. There was no chance. So he came back to the touchline. He wore a tracksuit, and he refused to sit down. For the rest of the match, he was on his feet. He limped along the white line. He shouted at his teammates. He gave instructions. He pointed. He pushed. At halftime, he gave a speech to his teammates. His teammate, Cedric Suarez, said it was unbelievable. Ronaldo told them, "Listen, I am sure we will win this Euro. Stay together. Fight for it." He was no longer just the captain on the pitch. He was the coach. He was the heart of the team. In the 109th minute, a Portuguese substitute named Evere picked up the ball. 25 meters from the French goal, a player almost nobody knew. He took one step. He shot. The ball flew low and hard, past the French goalkeeper, into the net. Goal. Portugal was winning the European Championship final, 1-0. 11 minutes later, the referee blew the final whistle. Portugal had won, the first major trophy in the history of Portuguese football, and the captain, who had been carried off the field in tears, was now jumping with joy. He was hugging his teammates. He was lifting the trophy he had not played for. The circle was closed. He had cried at a final in 2004. He had cried at this final in 2016. But this time, the tears were different. This time, the tears were joy. Portugal had won without him on the pitch. He had built a team that could win the biggest match in their history without their best player. He was more than just a great player. He was a leader. He had created something bigger than himself. After 2016, he kept winning. He helped Real Madrid win the Champions League 3 years in a row. 2016, 2017, 2018. No team had ever won 3 Champions League titles in a row in the modern era. But they did, with Cristiano scoring goals in every important match. Then he left Real Madrid. He moved to Italy. He went back to England. He traveled. He won more leagues. He kept scoring. But the Champions League did not come again, and in his late 30s, many people thought the story was ending. But Cristiano was not finished. In December 2022, he signed for a Saudi Arabian club, Al Nassr. The contract was enormous. He became the highest-paid footballer in the world. But more importantly, he opened a door. After he went to Saudi Arabia, many other great players followed him. The football world changed. In Saudi Arabia, he did what he had always done. He scored. And scored. And scored. In 2024, he became the first male player in history to score 900 career goals. He was almost 40, and he was still the man scoring the goals. And now, in the summer of 2026, the story reaches its final chapter. The FIFA World Cup is here. Cristiano Ronaldo is 41 years old. He has said in clear words that this will be his last World Cup. After this tournament, he will probably leave the national team. Within a year or two, he will leave football completely. He is playing in his 6th World Cup, a record only Lionel Messi shares with him. He has won almost everything. 5 Champions League titles, 5 Ballon d'Or awards, a European Championship, league titles in 4 different countries. He is the all-time top scorer in men's international football. But the World Cup, the greatest trophy in football, has never been his. If Portugal wins it this summer, and if Cristiano lifts the trophy, he will become the oldest player in history to win a World Cup. The boy who cried because he wanted to win too much. The boy whose heart almost stopped beating. The boy who was laughed at for his accent in Lisbon. The boy who lost his father too early. That boy, at 41 years old, holding the World Cup over his head. That is the story he is trying to write. We do not yet know how it ends. My friend, the story of Cristiano Ronaldo is, in the end, very simple. It is the story of a poor boy from a small island who wanted something more than anyone else wanted it. It is the story of a heart that almost stopped and the operation that saved everything. It is the story of a young man who walked into a stadium in Lisbon one summer night and changed his life with 90 minutes of football. It is the story of a captain who won a championship by leaving the pitch in tears. The crybaby from Madeira became the highest international goal scorer in football history. The boy mocked for his accent became one of the most followed human beings on the planet. The teenager with a broken heart became the most physically prepared athlete of his generation. Sometimes, the things people laugh at us for are the things that make us great. And you, my friend, think about that for a moment. Think about the thing inside you that other people do not understand. The thing they call too much. The thing they tell you to stop. Maybe it is how deeply you feel. Maybe it is how hard you try. Maybe it is the tears you cry when nobody else cries. That thing is not weakness. It never was. It is the part of you that cares. And one day, if you keep going, it will be the part of you that wins. The story of Cristiano Ronaldo is not finished yet. He is still playing, he is still scoring, he is still chasing the one trophy that has always escaped him. But whatever happens this summer, the story has already become one of the greatest stories in the history of sport. And it all started with a poor boy playing barefoot in the streets of Funchal, dreaming of something bigger than the small island he was born on. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Leave a comment and tell me, which moment of his story moved you the most? Was it the boy who cried on the street? The boy with the racing heart? Or the captain who won a final by leaving the pitch? Take care of yourself. I will see you soon with another story.